Hi, everyone, and welcome to CEDIA Expo Virtual. We are virtual today, like all things, and we're here to discuss the increase in requests to make homes healthy and safe with our panel, Loop into Wellness. A special thank you to Savant for sponsoring this Tech Talk. I'm your session moderator, Jon Strassner, Director of Industry Partnerships here at ASID, the American Society of Interior Designers. And with our industry and world recovering from COVID-19, the CI channel provides wellness services that can help people and businesses bounce back and remain healthy. Integration firms are seeing an influx of requests for improved HVAC, water and air purification, and voice control instead of a traditional entertainment, AV, or security system. Today, we explore the uptick in wellness requests from consumers and how technology integrators and design professionals can leverage wellness within their business. Today, I'd like to welcome our panelists, Jan Vitrovsky, Brad Montgomery, and Greg Barrett. And I'm going to let each of them introduce themselves to you today. Jan, we're going to start with you.
Okay, good morning, guys. Or I don't know what time this is going to come out. Hello, everybody. My name is Jan Vitrovsky. I'm the founder and owner of HEDSouth with offices based in South Florida and also Southern California. We have been on the forefront of the wellness movement from the beginning, working with Delos, the company behind the IWBI and the Well Building Standard.
Hi, I'm Brad Montgomery. I'm with Time2IM. We are a custom home technology firm helping clients throughout the U.S. and now beyond.
Hi, I'm Greg Barrett, product manager at USAI Lighting. We are based in New York, and we excel in design quality, downlight fixtures, and lighting technology.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. So everybody watching right now, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a chat function and a Q&A function. Please make sure to put any and all questions into the Q&A function, and we'll do our best to answer those at the end of the session. So let's get started. Hopefully everybody's ready. Brad's still slugging. I think that's coffee in the mug, but we can't be sure. So first question is going to go to Greg. We're in the infancy of wellness in the home, and our panel of experts can speak to all of the current pillars of the wellness industry, including light, voice, air purification, and water purification. Let's discuss these current pillars and where everything started. Greg, start us off by talking about lighting's effect on our well-being.
I'd be happy to. So lighting is such a powerful primary influence on our lives. We see the world in visual terms. And designers, interior designers, lighting designers, architects, they've known for decades about light's power to influence people's moods and perceptions of a space on a psychological level. But it's only been within the past 20 years or so where scientists actually discovered the ability of light to influence our circadian rhythm. So circadian rhythm is our sleep-wake pattern. It's what determines when we're hungry, when we're tired. All of our body's functions are governed by the circadian response. And the primary influencer of that is the presence or absence of blue wavelength light. So in the morning when the sun comes up, we wake up, there's a lot of light, crisp daylight outside, and our body stops the production of melatonin. And in the evening, when that blue light goes away, our body produces melatonin, which allows us to go to sleep. And so over the past 20 years, the scientists have been researching this and discovering this. That converges with the lighting technology of dynamic LEDs. So finally, you have the science and you have the technology coming together where in an artificial world, we can actually start to influence our sleep-wake pattern, which in turn influences our moods, our restfulness, our immune system response. And so it's a very powerful factor, especially considering that 90% of the time we're indoors, and even more now so now that we're all in our home. So light is such a powerful factor when it comes to wellness that it's a really great starting point when you're discussing things with your clients.
Yeah, and our handheld devices allow for a setting now, right? So we can actually adjust it.
Yeah, that's a great point. So Apple and Android devices, I believe on Apple it's called night shift mode. And what it does is it actually warms up your screen and dims it down. So you're getting rid of those blue wavelengths, you're getting rid of those high bright intensity. So as you're going to bed and looking at your phone, you're not actually waking yourself up.
Yeah, very cool. So Brad, talk to us a little bit about voice activation.
Voice activation is an exciting area right now in home technology because of the recent advancements. People are able to, first of all, there's the utility of it. It's a contactless form of controlling home technology, whether it be lighting or shades or traditional audio video. All of those things can be controlled without having to touch anything. And that may not make all that big of a difference for someone who's living on their own or someone who is with their partner. But if you have a high traffic home, you have a lot of guests coming and going, you have family, it helps minimize, even in non-COVID times during the flu season, it's great to have less contacting of communal surfaces in your home. And we're at this point right now where the utility of voice activation has really increased dramatically. The ability that people have to control things and to control multiple things in a very conversational way has dramatically improved. Plus, like a lot of technology, it's also got the cool factor. And the cool factor is important to people. They enjoy it. And so it makes the experience overall not only more convenient, but more enjoyable.
Yeah, awesome. And you know, the health crisis may not have been what drove that technology, but it's certainly showing a huge value proposition now with just
absolutely. It was definitely something that's already been in the works for quite a while, but it has really arrived at a good time. We were already seeing quite a bit of demand for it pre-COVID anyway. But I think that this has just added another layer of understanding of to why you would want this into your home.
Yeah, and as that demand increases and drives better technology, then that's something that doesn't become such a far out feature for $1 million homes. It's something that everybody can have access to, which I think is going to be huge, right?
Absolutely.
Jan, I know you're chomping at the bit here to get into the ring. So tell us a little bit about the air purification and water purification with these pillars of wellness and how they apply.
Thanks. Let me start off by thanking you guys for inviting me to be part of the panel. Wellness and all of the pillars, as you just discussed, are at the forefront today in every homeowner's mind, especially families that have children, especially performance-based people that are interested in better quality sleep. And I think it touches upon every single type of person, every age, gender. One of these pillars that we discussed from the beginning of this conversation was air. And what's important to realize is that 90% of the time we're inside, and the air quality of what we breathe inside our homes is dramatically more toxic or dirtier than the air that we breathe outside. So it's very, very important with today and with what's going on with COVID that we have the purest possible air available to us. And that is through air washing or air filtration systems that go beyond the typical air filters that are put into air conditioning systems or the UV lights that are being put into air conditioning systems as well. These systems are available and are getting deployed as part of wellness packages that are being put into homes by system integrators to purify the air. And as before, having discussions with homeowners about the wellness scenario for their home where it wasn't important, today it's at the forefront of every discussion. If the system integrator feels comfortable enough to be able to breach the conversation. So it is very important for us as system integrators to educate the population. That's our job, to teach people about what's important and how to get it done. That's on the air side of things. On the water side of things, as we all know, the majority of our body is made up of water. So putting the best and cleanest and purest water into our body is another pillar of wellness that's very, very important. And again, educating people on not so much that the water in their reservoirs or aquifers are clean, but what happens to that water between its trip between that location and coming out of the sink or your bathtub or your shower in your home. So it's very important to do water tests and to get information from your municipalities, which it's available, and getting the proper prescription for water filtration or water cleansing for your house done. Again, another very important thing in the wellness narrative. So when you process the light, as Greg was talking about it, and the air and the water that I was talking about it, and the touchless aspect of control of things, as Brad was discussing, these are different platforms that are critical for us as educators and as integration companies to be discussing with homeowners, builders, architects today.
Yeah, and holistically, all together. Don't try to nitpick this stuff. But I do think it's really super interesting that air purification, you can't really see dirty air, which is the challenge. We got to trust you that it's filtered.
Correct.
And remember when we all used to think that airplane air was like the worst air you could possibly breathe, and now with COVID, we've all found out that actually the air purification systems in these airplanes is better than what we experience anywhere else.
We need to take a look at how many times per hour the air in a specific area within your home or your whole home is recycled or washed and then put back into the system.
Yeah.
Especially in climates where I live in the South, where it's hot all the time. So people rarely, if ever, open up the windows or doors to get fresh air in. So it's critical in making sure that this recycled air is as clean as possible.
Yeah, and good segue, Jan, you're talking about washing air. So the next question, we're going to talk about well washing, right? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about well washing versus actual wellness. And Greg, maybe you can explain the difference between certain trending wellness topics and truly integrated wellness technology and therapies that are proven to work. I think we're going to see, as we come out of this crisis, we're going to see all kind of, we call it gaslighting, right? Where people come out and say, hey, now we're going to bring it back to the new normal, or now we're going to really clean this thing up. How do we really find those authentic solutions, Greg?
Well, as Jan was talking about, it's all about the education side of things. It's about integrators, manufacturers, designers all coming together to make decisions and make choices that are based on solid science-backed solutions. And that comes down to finding partners that base their products, base their decisions on facts. And when the term well washing is used, is the wellness industry is a huge industry, billions of dollars. And there's lots, trillions. All right, there you go, Jan. Yes. Trillions of dollars. So you get to the point where there's a lot of other companies and manufacturers out there that are Me Too type of products. They want to be involved in this trend because it sells. Research has shown that if you put green on your packaging, people think it's eco-friendly and healthier and they buy it. Doesn't always mean it's true. So whenever you're looking to have a discussion with clients about wellness, make sure that whatever you're talking about has solid science backing it up. And there's a lot of pseudoscience out there as well, where they'll cherry pick certain pieces of one paper versus another. So that comes into the relationships, partnerships, and trust. But there's also something to be said for, there's a psychological side of wellness. There's also a physiological side of wellness, as I was talking about earlier. So for instance, Brad right now has these beautiful blue lights in his background. And psychologically, that actually is a very calming response. Blues and purples will help relax you. It'll make you feel calm. But in enough quantities, that blue light will also help wake you up. It'll inhibit the production of melatonin. So it depends upon whether you're going for mood and atmosphere or whether you're going for a clinical health physiological response. And it's important to distinguish the two. And you can also combine, mix and match. There's times where you want to feel emotionally one way, and then there's other times where you want to take care of your body in another way. And so I think it's all just part of a discussion. And I wouldn't want to discount the psychological impact of things either, because research has also shown that thinking things are better also does impact your well-being overall as well.
We all want to crawl into Brad's square, don't we? So
It's really cozy. I'm envious.
I think it's really, when you think about this Wellwashing, it's really important to choose good partners that you can trust. They've got credibility. They're in the industry. They're knowledgeable. They're professionals. Hey, Jan, you're an expert on Delos, and hoping you could take a few minutes today and tell us a little bit about what that well building standard has done for the wellness industry.
Well, Delos is a company that's been around for a while. They're the company that, started the whole movement, especially in the real estate industry. So from our perspective, in the residential sector, Delos has developed a program with a product called Darwin, which is a computer that runs algorithms from the Mayo Clinic and other medical scientific background to help with air, water, lighting, sleep, comfort, all the different platforms. And this solution is being offered through system integrators for their clients. All of the scientific white paper and research associated with circadian rhythm, air filtration, water filtration, the comfort is all part of this program, which is available for system integrators to become dealers for. There's training for it, there's educational tools for it, there's marketing tools for it. It's an of the now kind of thing that system integrators should be discussing.
Yeah, I think that what you see with a standards program like that is that it pushes code, right? And, initially you're just doing everything to stay legal, but it pushes you to go beyond that. And I think that those pillars that play into wellness are hugely, hugely important. Brad, we've seen some of the installation photographs of your product, and they are like beautiful enough to be in any design magazine. So, I think about what you do, and I think about the clients that you're working with right now that are creating some amazing spaces. How much do your clients know about wellness, and what are they requesting from you right now?
That is a really interesting question. A few years ago, we really tried pushing low voltage lighting, and it was sort of difficult to articulate what was the value in switching from traditional lighting to a low voltage solution. And then everything changed when wellness came into the picture, when it became about the circadian rhythm, when it became about the tunable light, where you could adjust the Kelvin temperature throughout the day, when it became about the infinite colors, so people could have that color psychology, but have the blue lights or whatever makes you feel good in that moment. We're seeing a lot of inquiries, not just from clients, but just from our social media channels on voice control and lighting, particularly the human-centric lighting, the type of lighting that Greg's company, USAI Lighting, manufactures. And there's more information available now than there used to be. So if somebody does just a cursory Google search, they're going to find case studies, or they're going to find information from that maybe USAI has published. Maybe they're going to run across one of the articles that Jan has had published, say, in the Miami Times. I think, Jan, you said you have one coming up in the New York Times.
Yeah, it was published yesterday.
Oh, perfect. And well, that's great. I'll push that out on our social media for people to read. Stuff like that really helps educate everyone. And the questions that we're getting on social media are a lot of times, and they're coming from builders, they're coming from interior designers, they're coming from architects, and they're also coming from end users, homeowners. who are saying, I didn't know that was a possibility. What is that brand called? Where can I find this? And we're able to kind of help steer them towards somebody who can help them in their area if we're unable to. But it's a complete shift from where things were just a couple years ago. People want the voice control. And once they understand the lighting and the benefits of it that there is to their health, they have to have it. These are high performance individuals who work very, very hard. They're very much like a Formula One car, if you will. They go, but in their downtime, they need a lot of the maintenance to rebuild so that they can go strong the next day. And they're seeing the value for themselves and for their family in these products.
Yeah, that's crazy. But you can, it's so hard to measure productivity, but when you're doing something for your own, you're sort of moderating your own feedback loop. So if it's working or not, So now we know the customer demand for well living in their homes. How are integrators and designers leveraging this for their business? Greg, from a product side, where are we as far as wellness being integrated into control systems rather than a new wellness platform or program?
So I think that right now you're starting to see the golden age of that integration. For years, control companies have been out there. They have their touchpads, they have their switches on the wall, they understand the user experience side of it. But it's been only in the past 5 or 6 years where truly dynamic lighting has come into the market, where you can change the color temperature, you can shift from that cool daylight to that nice candlelight glow, or switch it up completely dynamically with products like Infinite Color. And that's only been within the past 6 years, and control companies didn't have the ability to control that intuitively. And just within the past 2 years or so, companies like Savant are coming out with the interfaces that make it easy and intuitive for users to not only control their entire atmospheres, but also to set it up so they don't even have to touch a single button. Savant has a product, a feature called daylight mode. And a user simply puts in, when do they wake up? When do they get ready for bed? When do they want to wind down? And it automatically charts out when the lights should be cool, when they should be bright, when they should be warm, when they should be dim. And that level of integration that makes it so intuitive for a user just to go about their daily life is truly a beautiful experience. And so I think that right now is the time to be having these conversations. It's kind of the perfect storm with technology, the user interface, the control companies, and now this awareness that we have to take care of ourselves. When you're stuck at home 24/7, I mean, everybody's had that impact, that stress level. And I think all of those things are raising awareness, and they're all coming together at a perfect time.
Absolutely. Jan, how do we get designers to start walking the walk and talking the talk here along with wellness? It's so essential.
I think, again, it gets back to us being the educators, us having the relationship with the interior design firms, the builders, the architects, taking meetings with them, letting them understand and educating them so that they can communicate this narrative to their clients. A lot of them, for the longest period of time, have pushed back on this because it wasn't something that brought them revenue. But it's in everybody's mind today. So getting them educated and on board with developing lifestyles which incorporate wellness for their customers is critical. I'm really a true believer in the education of the people that we work with and the people that feed us business. And as most all system integrators know, that's, other than word of mouth, that's how we get our business. Mm-hmm. So again, it gets back to education. It gets back to social media. It gets back to our ability of letting everybody know that we're in the mix and in the band and doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and designers don't have to be experts in this technology.
No, that's why
designers are great connectors.
That's why they have us to be part of their teams.
Yeah, and I I would put you folks in front of a client any day of the week to talk about this technology. So it's awesome. So Brad, we talked, I threw you a compliment a little while ago about your installation photos, and now we actually get a chance to take a quick look at them. So as an integrator, can you kind of share some examples of times when you've worked with a builder on a project that involved very specific wellness requests? So I know you've got some photos to show us, and we're running low on time, so we're gonna double time it. But let's take a look at some of these because they're awesome.
Yeah, if we can go ahead and let's bring up that first photo here. Okay, this is a home for a client. This is in South Florida. This home has a tremendous amount of technology per square foot. The homeowner is, like I mentioned before, a high performance type of individual, and he needed a home that was kind of rose up and would greet him when he came home, both in terms of the aesthetics and the way it's designed, but also in the technology. So every room in the house has all the traditional things like touch screens, remotes, keypads, but also voice control. So there's that contactless solution. So in this picture, if you look right above the headboard, up in the ceiling, you can just see there's like a little black dot. That is actually the voice control interface for this home. This home is using Josh.ai for the voice interface. It is all Savant controlled, which is our sponsor for this, and it features Greg's company's USAI Lighting in every space. We can go to the next slide. And this is just off of the kitchen. Again, you can see what's wonderful about this is that everything in the home, whether it's the shades, the lighting, the infinite color, the human-centric lighting, the audio-visual, all of that can be controlled through traditional user interface means like the touch screens, the remotes, the mobile app, or they can use a contact solution, which in this case is a Josh.ai. Next screen, or next slide, I guess. You don't see it in this photo, but this home also has a lot of indirect tape light, and that's used more to accent. It's used more to bring the color into the home, but it has this amazing effect on you. I didn't really appreciate it till I was there in the space and was playing with the app that Savant makes. And as Greg talked about user interfaces and how much they've come, how far they've come, this is an app that, and I wish I had a photo of it, where even my parents can use it without any kind of, without having to really teach them anything. I could just hand it to them, and it's that easy to use to dial in a color that you want. Let's go ahead to the next slide here. I believe another shot of the bedroom. On the left-hand side, you'll see there next to the wall, that's a traditional touchscreen. Everything that was on the wall in this home is flush mounted. It was recessed just to keep it very clean. Let's see, let's go to the next slide, which I think, here we go. This is the great room as you first walk into the home. This home is loaded with technology. It has the infinite color lighting, the human-centric lighting. It has shades. It has audio. It has the color on demand, and it has the voice control unit, which you can see kind of next to that artwork. Again, there's a little dot that's recessed in the wall. That is the Josh.ai. But what's nice about this space is the homeowner just comes in and experiences the technology rather than looking at it. The aesthetics of the home, this home done by P&H Interiors, that's where your eye goes. And then I think we have one more slide. And these are my brothers. That's Greg on the left, Matt on the right. They're the ones I work with here at Time. This is the same home again in the clubroom area during installation. But again, this angle lets you see the amount of technology that is being built in this home. But it provides a wonderful experience for the client. And everything in this home was possible because of the builder. The builder on this project, Compson and Associates, went out of their way. The homeowner said, hey, I want this in my home. I want this crazy new lighting system that maybe you haven't heard of before. And he's like, I'm going to bring this technology company in from back west. And the builder was like, okay, let's do it. And they were fantastic partners. And being able to provide a client these kinds of solutions, whether it be the wellness, whether it be, from the lighting or the voice control, all of it, all the bells and whistles, it really comes down to you're as good as the people you work with. And so builders, and as they are becoming more aware of this, the education, as Jan talked about, that is making the big change for everyone in the industry.
Yeah, the better this is, the less you notice it, right? The more invisible it becomes, and it's amazing. And I just want to let everybody know that I'll be moving into that house next week. So really excited about that. Quick plug for ASID as we're wrapping things up here. Please go to asid.org. We've got some research online now. We do a pulse survey every couple of weeks to see how the design industry is holding up with the COVID crisis and how we're adapting and evolving, and how we're accessing this kind of technology and information to this kind of technology. So thank you guys very much for being a part of this panel. You are certainly experts in your field, and we're fortunate to be able to get you guys together here again to share what you know. And thanks again. Really, it was great to meet you guys and have you on this panel. So
Thank you.
Thank you, John, very much.
We're gonna move on to the Q&A portion of the program now.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, we're back. We're back. I sweat through that first shirt, so I had to make a wardrobe change. Hope nobody minds. If Britney Spears can do it, I can do it. All right, so we've got some questions. Let me just get right to them here. The first question, and this is a lighting question, and it's somebody is looking for a turnkey system of lighting, light sensors, circadian rhythm control of those lights available for residential rooms, but specifically, the question is, they're looking for something that's a small, one room, inexpensive solution, not requiring a whole house kind of major system. Sounds like maybe, I don't know, Brad or Greg, either of you have an answer to that.
So Brad might be aware of something, but one thing that I would want to just make sure that everybody's aware of is when it comes to circadian lighting and wellness is every space is unique, every finish is different. And what really matters when it comes to circadian lighting is how much of those blue wavelengths actually get to your eye. So because every space is unique and every design is unique, I'm not aware of a turnkey solution off the shelf that would automatically achieve the results you're looking for. There might be solutions out there that do change color, cool to warm automatically throughout the day. Maybe even Philips Hue has that type of function, but without actually making sure you're getting the right light levels, you'd be kind of guilty of that well washing that we talked about earlier in the panel. Brad or Jan, are you aware of any?
No, I think you're right on.
I would concur.
Okay, and we have a question for Jan. Somebody is asking, what was the article called that you wrote for the New York Times?
You know what? I responded back via text to the person that wrote it. I don't remember the name of it, but if they send me their email, I'll forward it off to them.
Perfect. What about this one? So what sorts of seals or third-party certifiers can we look for in sourcing true well products and thus avoiding this well washing issue?
I think what you should do is go to Delos's website, and you could see who their business partners are currently. All of the products that are endorsed by Delos have been vetted out by the IWBI and the Well Building Lab at the Mayo Clinic. So if you're looking for true scientific data associated with products that aren't well washed, that's the best approach to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would tell you also that there's an organization called Healthy Materials, or Mindful Materials, Mindful Materials. Check their website. They give you access to a lot of different certifications, and one of my favorites is a process or a program called Declare Label. So if you're interested in knowing what goes into the products that you're buying and specifying, Declare labels are like nutritional labels, but for products. Very, very cool stuff.
So one other thing that I'd want to add in is, so this isn't a label that gets stamped on a product, but the International Well Building Standard if you actually look through their recommendations on the different pillars of wellness, they have criteria for air quality, water quality, lighting quality. And by looking for manufacturers that can fulfill those types of criteria, you can establish a well built space. It's not a stamp that goes on a product because every installation, every space is different, but that's a really good resource to go to as you're looking for the products that achieve true wellness.
Yep. Yep. And then another one, Greg, you just remind me of is the International Living Futures Institute. They have the Living Building Challenge, which deals with a lot of health and well-being. They've got the Living Product Challenge, and they get into the Living Community Challenge. So there's there's a lot of certifications out there for sure. But the key is multi-attribute, third-party certified. Those are the ones you're looking for. Question for Brad: which wellness products do you find clients are most impressed with, or has the biggest impact on their lives?
Lighting. Lighting is right now, as popular as voice control is, lighting is the thing that is getting people the most excited about wellness. And it is very specifically individuals who are high performance in their own, in their professional careers, who realize that the benefit of lighting, particularly the circadian rhythm, how having that in their home is going to help them recharge and be ready to go again the next day as a high performance vehicle. But without a doubt, and it's an interesting thing, we talk about it. I mentioned this in the recording. We would talk about, the lighting options with people, but once they researched it or experienced it, and once it clicked in their head, then everything changes. As soon as that they clicks, that they make that realization of what it is and what it means for them, they have to have it. And so that's the trend that we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Let me jump in on this. Lighting is probably the most demonstrable pillar of wellness to be able to share with somebody. But due to where we are in the world today associated with COVID, probably the most talked about and most desired is air. When it comes to true of where the world is right now and what is on everybody's mind. Not so much, lighting is a great thing. We can make a lot of money being in the market and selling lighting, but everyone today is concerned about the air they're breathing. And the reason behind that is, if you look at these different pillars, you could go for a period of time without drinking water. You could be in a dark room and not have it affect you. But we can't go more than many seconds without breathing. And putting that into perspective, everyone is concerned about the passing of COVID and the cleaning of the air to try to remove, if there are toxins in the air, the virus. And not to say that lighting isn't important, but what is on everybody's mind today, everybody wearing a mask, is the air that they're breathing.
Thanks, Jan. We have just a couple more questions here. This one's for Greg. Greg, you have formal education in circadian lighting and its effect. What resources do you recommend to designers and integrators who want to learn more?
So the number one resource that I would recommend is the Lighting Research Center. The Lighting Research Center is in the process of moving from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute up in upstate New York to Rutgers University in New Jersey. But Mariana, Mark Ray, the whole group there have multiple studies in both clinical settings and organizations with like government service agencies where they actually have published results. They've been doing this research for decades. And I think they're one of the number one resources on circadian lighting. Pacific Northwest National Labs as well. A good starting point is on the USAI Lighting website. We actually have links to numerous articles and studies as well as a good kind of summary place for you to go. And so that's where I would start your research. Actually, the LRC also has a YouTube video series. It's a 10-part video series. Each video is 2 to 5 minutes long, and that provides an excellent introduction to circadian lighting.
Thanks, Greg. One more question, and it's for Brad. What are the advantages of Josh, and why do you choose it over the Alexas and the Googles?
That is a very good question. And the answer is, we didn't choose it. Our clients did. And it wasn't so much that we said, here's A or B. It was more the fact that the clients had done the research. Josh has done a really good job of positioning themselves as a luxury premium solution for homes. They have the deeper integrations with certain other brand products that people can want. But they've been really good. They're active on social media. They're routinely published and talked about in mainstream press. You know, they were just in Forbes. It was either this week or last week. And so clients want that. And that is a switch. There was, you know, initially when voice assistants became widely available, there was a lot of buzz and a lot of hubbub about it. But we noticed that kind of ticked off a little bit. And then with Josh, we've noticed an uptick again. And it is, as soon as clients research about it, they know that that's what they want. And we've been happy with product. We can't say enough good things about working with the company on. I mean, it's a product designed for custom integration, and they really get it.
Thanks, Brad. We still have some questions coming in. We've got one for Jan. What percentage of your projects include a wellness solution?
Today, all of them.
Wow.
At least when I say all of them, whether it's the lighting aspect of it, whether it's the air aspect of it, whether it's the water aspect of it, it might not be a complete Dalo solution, which is actually the proper way to do it. But there are all these different pillars that are available that all add to the health and wellness of a property. When you get the customer that understands the value of the Dalo solution and the algorithms and the Darwin Hub, it's one thing. But I doubt highly that you'll meet somebody today that you're pitching a job to that wouldn't like to have better air quality or better water quality at a minimum. And when educated about the lighting, at least a couple of rooms at a minimum that have the capability of doing circadian, at least the master bedroom suite,
Well,
which is the sleep chamber.
What percentage then do you think embrace it holistically and incorporate all of the pillars?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I'd say, again, with the outdoor business climate today, you're going to get a higher percentage today than we did 6 months ago.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
So
Jan,
one thing that I was actually thinking about last night as I was watching the news, and we talk about wellness, we talk about air quality and lighting and water, but all of these pieces need electricity to run. And I was thinking about our friends out on the West Coast with all the fires. And that's going to have a huge urge for energy management and battery backup systems and generators to keep all of these filters and all of these systems running. And that plays a direct role as well into health and wellness, because without that power, those systems just don't work. So I think that's something that integrators need to look very closely at, as well as clients and the design team.
Thanks, Greg. Well, we have we've taken up all of our time, and it was great to have the three of you join this panel today. I want to thank everybody that took time out of their day to attend and to listen. I hope you all got some nuggets out of it. I learned a lot. Jan, Greg, Brad, thank you all very much for spending some time today to talk about this topic of looping people into wellness. So thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yes.
Take care.
Everybody stay healthy and safe. Breathe good air. Drink good water. Stop touching stuff. Wash your hands. All right. Thank you guys very much. Have a great day. Have a great rest of the virtual conference.
Bye.
Bye-bye.